Okay, in this video, we're going to look at Beethoven Sonatina, hands together, Sonatina in G major, A and H5, and we're looking at how we're putting it hands together. There's a few things to notice. One is it was published in 1807. We don't have a reliable manuscript of it, so we actually can't be 100% sure it was written by Beethoven, but it has been attributed to him. It does seem to be an earlier classical style despite its late publication date, which would suggest putting ornaments on the beat, which we'll talk about when we come to the ornaments. Being a sonatina means, so write this on your music, it means little sonata. What a sonata is a piece of music with various speeds or contrasting speeds. So an original sonata was just one long piece which would have a slow bit, then a fast bit, then a slow bit, and those slow bits might only be 2 bars long. And the time signatures would change as the piece went on. Over time, this sonata evolved from just being one piece to being these separate sections which almost function as whole pieces by themselves. So the one we're doing this time is the first movement. This sonatina, little sonata, has 2 separate sections. They are both in G major familiar. They're both in G major, but they have different time signatures. And this one is moderato, moderate speed. The other one is going to be faster, allegretto. So now looking at this, the hands together for the first 2 bars. So we've got our first note, and then we've got the little tiny note here. Now, if we play it on the beat, it would go like this. But because we're only doing grade 2, it's probably easier to practice it like this. Now notice I said practice, not play it, because when we play it in concert, that note needs to be much shorter because it's got a little line through it, which makes it an acciaccatura, which is your crush note. Okay, but just for practice, 1, 2, 3, 4, and together. So practice it really slowly like that until you can play it so easily. 2, 3, 4, and then both hands will come off. But this one's not exactly coming off because it's reaching for that note. But this one is coming off to make it a nice dead flower shape. 5, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. And now we have the same pattern. We have that acciaccatura, so our first note, and we'll practice it this way first. 1, 2, 3, 4, and together. And then fly away. So 2, 3, 4, and together. Practice that maybe 10 times, then hopefully you can make it a little bit faster. Then this one flies away to make a dead flower. This one's going to go 3, 4, 3, 1, 4, 2. And now we're getting ready for our next phrase. Now, this time our left hand's doing that Alberti pattern. So write that underneath, Alberti pattern. So we've got G chord, and then we're going to put our B first, and then get our G7 ready. Pause and get ready for that F sharp together. Okay, so that's just bars 5 and 6. So 2, 3, 4, and together, 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 thumb under, and together. So practice it that way a fair few times, and then hopefully and then we're up to the next bit. Okay, so now the last 2 bars. So we've got 2 note slurs in this hand, and we all want to lift them slightly, and this one is nice and... So I like this one detached because of the early classical feeling that it has. Of course it has an early classical feeling, which is why people have suggested that maybe it was written by a student or something much earlier in the classical period. However, it's also possible if Beethoven wrote this as sort of a teaching piece just to get published, that he made it simple for students. So yeah, there's a couple of options there, isn't there? Except we have no manuscript written in Beethoven's hand, which does question whether he wrote it. But here we go. So our two note slurs with that potentially nice detached left hand. Now the next bar, the earliest edition does this. And make sure when you do the hands together, you get softer as you go down and softer. Now, the edition that I use has 3 notes in that chord, which is also consistent with classical practice, that it was quite common to add chords to things, but we don't know exactly how or when that was added. And then come off. Okay, so up to bar 9. This one's a little bit easier. What we do need to worry about is our left hand doing his dead flowers. So then together, 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 4, thumb, dead flower, while this one does the scale. And what you might notice is there's a beautiful crescendo as we go up and a decrescendo as we come down. Getting louder, louder, loudest, then getting softer. Now bar 11 and 12, same idea. Together, 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 and then 1 and then off, and then get softer as we go down. Now both of them, and lift. Now if we just talk about when those hands together notes go, they go on the 1 2 1, 1 2 1. If you're in Australia, you'll know that a 1 2 1 was one of those little bubble cars, and that 1 2 1s come up a lot when we're doing piano. So if I go from bar 13, dead flower, then as a 1 2 1, and that's with together 1 2 1 on both the ones, dead flower, and here it is again, 1 2 1. Then thumb, 1 2 3, 1 2 3 4, da 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 da, and getting softer. Now we're getting back into the theme again, the first idea. So because we're coming back to the first idea, you might want to just give a tiny bit there, slow down, dum, so that we can come back in, very, very tiny accent on that to say, hey, look where I've come back to. And if you did do a tiny rit, it's time to come back to speed. Okay, so now we've got together. We've done this bit before, haven't we? So I'll just play it through. If you're practicing it, you don't have to practice it again. If you're practicing in sections, you could skip this bit. Okay, and then we're up to the last section. What you might notice all the way through is that my right hand is louder than my left hand. Because my left hand's only playing chords or Alberti, I want that right hand melody to really sing out so everybody can hear it nice and easily. Now we've got section C, and all we need to be worried about is how this hand moves around the piano. This hand is just doing our chord patterns. So here we go, broken chord patterns. 1 3 2 1 2 4, closer hand, 5 4 5 3, getting softer, 1 3 2 1, getting louder, 2 4 5, rest, 2 rest. So notice this hand is doing lots of things. It's coming off for rest, it's getting louder. This one's just keeping itself very stable, very calm. So I'll do it again so you can hear where they're together. It's also D7, together, together, G chord, together, together, D, together, together, B, G, fly away, and D, together, together, D, sorry, G chord, together, together, D chord, rest, F sharp, rest, sorry, D7, I forgot which hand I'm talking about, D7, and then G, and there's a G chord, it's missing the D, but it's still a G chord. We've got to fly away both hands at the same time for the rest, and then we're down to do our coda section with our G, and B in this hand, which is making our sixth, and we're making our arpeggio in the left hand, so together, together, hold, and 1 2 3 4, what a pretty note, off, because it's got that beautiful pause there, and un poco allargando is a little bit getting broader or getting larger. So make those alarg. You might even see the word large hidden in there. So we're making our notes larger. And slowing down, 2, 3, 4. What a pretty note. Off. So have fun learning it. I look forward to hearing you play it.